So we're headed into one of those weeks when your nerves are going to be jangled, mine at least. And, coming after last week, which we had this, where we had the Starship giving us definite goosebumps, and then the economic numbers that came hard at us all week, right up till Friday when we got the surprising numbers on the unemployment. Well, we might already be feeling a little bit of emotional exhaustion, but too bad, because we have a slew of other big news coming this week. And I'll be, of course, reporting in detail about that tomorrow night when we do the Monday morning show. But anyway, in the meantime, we have in the most important slot for the week, the meeting. Which takes place on Thursday. If you don't know what the meeting is, then I need to. You're on the wrong channel, or else you're a newbie. So we have the meeting of the shareholders, who will all be going down to Austin, sitting in folding chairs, and listening to what Elon and the rest of the board has to say about the vote that's taking place about Elon Musk's compensation plan and about the move to Texas and a couple of other smaller matters. Well, after we get that announcement, after they give us the results of the vote, give us the envelope, please. It doesn't quite work that way, but they will give you the announcement. I would expect, hopefully, a rather detailed analysis of what the vote actually means. Whichever way the vote goes, for instance, if it's a yes on the pay package, what does that really mean in terms of Elon's approach, his plans? Does it make him excited? Is he thrilled? Is he excited? There's also, questions of how that will now process going through back to the state of Delaware, turning it into the judge, getting the judge to make a ruling on whether that is going to be good enough. Is there going to be an appeal? All kinds of stuff still have to happen, but give us a little bit of thought and thinking about how all that's going to take. We also need to know, if the vote is yes, what needs to happen next? What's their plans? What's their thinking about getting him the rest of the 25% that he requires? Or will they have to wait until Delaware is done with all the stuff that they're going to do? Anyway, some kind of restatement on all of this would be very, very helpful. Then, if the pay package fails by a small amount, because it looks to me like if it fails, it would be really one of those squeakers. Well, what does that mean? And then what next in that case? Do they have another vote in 3 months, or do they go back and try to use the appeal process to get the thing reinstated that way? What is going to happen there next? Again, my position on the appeal. I think they could win the appeal 15 ways from Christmas if they go down that route, even if the Supreme Court of Delaware somehow agreed with their chancellery judge. I think you take this one to the Supreme Court, because I think it's that important. Anyway, then there is the move to Texas vote. If that gets more than the 50% approval, in other words, 50% of all the votes cast say yes, but not more than 50% of the eligible shares, will they move anyway? Will they move the corporate headquarters anyway and dare Delaware to try to stop them? Because you see, there's only a single case saying that it requires that they have to have a majority of all the outstanding shares in order to make this kind of a decision. And that's a very recent case, and it had a very special set of circumstances around it. So it's not settled law at all. So it's possible that Tesla would say, if we got more than 50% of the total vote cast, maybe they just say, you know what, we're going to move anyway, and we'll find out what happens next. Anyway, what if they just plain lose that vote? What if they don't even get 50% of the voting shares? Now what? What comes next on that situation as well? Some people have suggested, including Tesla Boomer Mama, who's done a lot of work on this whole thing, that they would just have a revote, whichever, if they lose either way, 50% of the total or 50% of the outstanding total. I mean, the total shares are 50% of the voting shares. What would they do next? All right. Okay, I would also suspect that after that, you'll have some announcements and introductions of other people from the Tesla world, probably nothing huge in terms of announcement. But when you get the stage and you got all those folks down there, you need some showmanship, and Elon is a showman. So I would be you probably can guess I will be rooting for an appearance by at least dozens of Optimi. Possibly they could be dancing. We've seen dancing before, but maybe they could be singing and dancing in a chorus line. I'd certainly like to have an Optimus come out and just have a conversation with Elon and others. Maybe they could play rock, scissors, paper. I'm not sure. Something that would show a lot of dexterity, a lot of usefulness, a lot of fun, a lot of, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, after that, Elon will undoubtedly, whatever they're going to do in all that regard, then I'm thinking Elon, if past is any evidence of the future, will take questions from the assembled shareholders who had enough luck to get an invitation. Now, as you would expect, I have prepared a list. So for all of you who are going to attend and you're thinking you might jump up and be recognized, here's a question I'd like you to ask for me. All right. But in the meantime, this is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. And remember that tonight we have, we have maybe the biggest ever Monday morning show, which is on Sunday night, talking about all the stuff that's going to happen next week, only one of which is this Thursday meeting, and so much more will be extremely exciting. All right, so be sure to watch tonight. Anyway, let's look. Oh, and you could also join Patreon to go on down below, hit just the description below. You can find the link, blah, 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 go over, blah, blah. It's so fast. All right, here's the questions. Number one, Dr. Know-It-All, John Gibbs, should try to jump up in line again. He should really get up there quick. And then he'll probably try to ask a question and a follow-up question. And the follow-up question should be, when do I get my interview? For those of you who don't remember, at a previous, was it just last year or was it 2 years ago? At a previous shareholders meeting, he was recognized and he did ask Elon if he would come on his YouTube channel and get an interview. And Elon said yes. But that was at least a year ago, and that hasn't happened yet. So that would be a great one to start off with. Anyway, my number two question, this would be my first serious question, would be, when will the four-wheel and the two-legged robots get their voice? I really think it would be a massive selling feature for the cars. If we can finally get to have, a car that talks to us and has an intelligent conversation, it could change the entire trajectory of sales in 2024 if the cars could talk and respond like ChatGPT. And we have competitive robots already talking. So Optimus needs a voice. The voice should be snarky, of course. It might even be Elon's voice. Anyway, number three, a tougher question. Most Tesla bulls are disappointed in the 4680 run rate, which seems to be far behind projections. Recently, you said that as long as 4680 keeps up with Cybertruck, everything's just fine. However, Cybertruck should be getting into much bigger numbers, not even getting 1,000 a week or maybe right around 1,000 a week. It's going to have to do a lot better than that. Are you confident that 4680s won't slow down Cybertruck later this year? When are we going to get really good numbers out of that 4680 line? Anyway, number four, well over 1 million Tesla fans, well over, maybe 2 million, maybe more than that, Tesla fans are wondering when you are likely to end the Foundation series and start delivering affordable Cybertrucks to those who've been waiting for so many years. Any guess on that? Later this fall, after the first of the year, second quarter. I mean, just throw it a guess. We'd just be curious to know. I know we're curious. In this household, we're very curious to know. All right, number five, I'm sure that you are not happy with those total vehicle sales for this year. The projection right now is running anywhere from just under 1.8, meaning less vehicles than last year, to maybe a top of 2 million. That would be a real stretch, at least at this point. Lots of things can change between now and then, but I see three possible ways to improve those sales numbers. One of those would be a Juniper version of the Model Y. One would be a major advertising campaign. And then 3 would be a serious, nationally amazingly recognized sales and marketing VP to start going over police department, to start trying to get police department business, government business, fleets, etc. Are any of those 3 ideas even in the pipeline for Q3 in time to save the year? We've heard some rumors about Juniper lately. Is that going to happen in China? Is that going to happen in the US this year? Anyway, all right. Number 6, any rough guess on the groundbreaking for 𝐓𝐞𝐬𝐝? We're now over a year behind the time that it was originally projected to groundbreak. What's happening with 𝐓𝐞𝐬𝐝? Do we see that later this year? Or are we going back? Is that going to now be 2025 before we even start to turn the shovel? All right, number 7, with an almost unlimited TAM, why are you not building more gigafactories? How come there are not more of those being announced? It seems like you've got the batteries. It seems like you've got the TAM. It seems like you've now got the process and the methods. Why are there not more gigafactories being announced? This seems like a missed opportunity for sure. Huge profits, huge numbers, big sales. Anyway, number 8, how do you make decisions between Tesla and xAI regarding who develops what products and services? You know, with all the other companies, with the Boring Company and with SpaceX and even X, there's pretty clear, you know, there's a pretty clear distinction. You can pretty well say, no, that's SpaceX's stuff. This is what Tesla does. This is what Neuralink does. Yeah, all the rest of them are, yeah, pretty clear. But Tesla and xAI have some definite, you know, on the Venn diagram, there's some crossover there. So how do you do that? How do you decide, or how can we as stockholders in Tesla, not in xAI, how can we kind of figure that out and not have to face those headlines from the snarky, from those horrible, you know, folks out there, those terrible press people out there saying, oh, Elon is cheating Tesla and giving stuff to xAI. How do we divine what that looks like in the future? Or is there some way that we can have some combination of Tesla owning some of xAI and vice versa, so that maybe it doesn't matter who gets what? Anyway, what's going on with that? Love to have a little bit of help in that category. Number 9, sometimes you've had an opinion on whether Tesla, the stock, is over or undervalued. You've said, I don't know what's going on here. The stock's overvalued, the stock's fallen. And other days you said, well, you know what? The stock seems about right or undervalued. Anyway, do you have an opinion right now? What do you think about it right now? Just curious. Anyway. All right, number 10, my final question. This is the most important question. That's why I left it till last. This guy, Randy Kirk, has written 2 books about you. And in the past 18 months has done over 1,000 videos about Tesla and about you. Doesn't that deserve a 15-minute Zoom interview? Yeah, so would somebody please ask that question? What would you ask? What did I miss? Put your questions down. Let's get them out there. I'll send them over to some of the guys that are going in case they're going to get in line. I'll pass them along. Maybe they'll do our bidding. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Please remember that yesterday morning I did one of the best videos ever with Larry Goldberg. We took a look at what Kathy had to say. We added to what Kathy had to say. We brought in some of our own charts this time. We looked at some other stuff, and we even had kind of a philosophical conversation at the end about what I've been calling the 2 economies, what the Wall Street Journal called the 2 Americas. I think the 2 economies is way more descriptive. Anyway, that is well worth a watch. I am going to put the card up right here so you can go back and check that out. And don't forget to come tonight and check out the Monday morning show, which of course appears on Sunday night. It's been great talking to you.